Hello, and welcome to the second edition of ABRA TV News with me, your host, Tony Jr. The National Museum of Jewish American History recently announced that it has inducted SEM member David Copperfield and Harry Houdini into its Hall of Fame. Harry Houdini was a past national president of the Society of American Magicians and is the only SEM president to hold that office twice. To quote Copperfield, humbled to receive this honour and more so grateful for the unique privilege of inducting Harry Houdini into the Hall of Fame during the ceremony. Other notables in the Hall of Fame include Albert Einstein, Steven Spielberg, Esther Lauder and Judge Ruth Ginsburg. James Randi, one of the world's magic icons, recently passed. Apart from his magic and escapology, he was one of the best known debunkers of charlatans and frauds. His $1 million challenge was never won by anyone. A little known fact is that Johnny Carson, who was, apart from being a legendary talk show host, also a very fine magician. The Tonight Show, which he hosted for many years, featured many celebrities and also many famous magicians. When Geller appeared on the show, unbeknown to him, Carson had Randi backstage, who evaluated some of Geller's claims. James Randi was invited as a consultant because of Geller's claims he had special powers. Geller failed on the live show, and for anyone interested, there are YouTube clips about the incident. This visual shown here is courtesy of Philip Pound, Pat Page's son-in-law, and is a photo that James Randi sent to Pat Page. Joining Randi in the great beyond was the legendary Dr. Charles J. Pacor, drama professor, magician, magic writer, teacher. At one time, he had a long-running column in the Lincoln Ring. His work influenced many notable magicians such as Dan Garrett, who, along with many others, regarded him as a mentor. Bill Merlin Palmer commented, "He was a friend, excellent performer too. He did some very inspiring performing at one of the TEOM conventions. I really enjoyed his style and work. Several years later, I performed one of my pieces at a convention. He came backstage afterwards and said, 'You know, there isn't much at these conventions that is worth stealing, but that seance is certainly worth stealing.'" Andy Nyman, who apart from being an excellent magician and actor, was awarded an Olivier Award for his performances in Fiddler on the Roof in London. Scott Wells, who is the well-known host of Magic and Martinis and the Magic Word podcast, has created a new Facebook group entitled Virtual Magic Event Calendar. It has fast become the focal point for many shows taking place within the international magic community. Coming up on the 13th of December is the third International Assembly Gala Show. The details and link will be available shortly. Directed and hosted by Anthony Darkstone, he is referring to the show as the League of Magical Gentlemen. The cast is made up of Brian Rolfe from Malta, Elmo Ulvila from Finland, Paul Abbey and myself, Tony Jr. from England, and from the USA, Tim Wise, Bill Merlin Palmer, Scott Wells and Kevin James. There is no charge and is open to magicians and the public worldwide. The last show attracted 325 attendees and received excellent reviews, one of which was written by Dan Garrett. This will appear in the December issue of MUM. Given the excellent cast on this one, it is anticipated it will be just as successful. Again, the show is free of charge and open to all magicians and lay people. The show poster was designed by Matthew Crabtree, SEM Deputy RVP, South Central Region. SEM President Most Illustrious, Dr. Joel Zawitsky, has added more interesting items to his Bites from the Batcave. SEM Second Vice President John Stirk, who is also a member of the SEM International Assembly, was one of the guests on Martin Cox's MC Friday Night Magicians. Another International Assembly member, Jane Protas, is guesting on the next show. SEM First Vice President Rod Chow, and also an International Assembly member, performed his Stay Safe, Stay Strong Superhero Money Magic Man act and won first place at an event held live over Zoom at Sean Farquhar's Hidden Wonders Theatre of Vancouver Magic Circle 2020 Children's Magician of the Year. The magical husband and wife team of Donna and Drew Cardella are the latest folk to join the SEM International Assembly. The Darkstone dossiers continue to have a fine run, and the next few shows of this year will feature magical couples. Kylie and David Knight were featured on Saturday the 7th of November. Next up is Alexandria the Great and Bill Purnell. And on the 4th of December is Abigail and Jeff McBride. Plans are being made, prizes are being arranged, and questions are being collated for an unusual quiz show beginning in January. Quizmasters will be producer-director Anthony Darkstone and Gunnar Sigurjonsson. Well, that's all from me. Till the next time.